Yellow.
Hey, is this Terrible Ted?
Yeah, is this Matt and Craig?
10-4, good buddy.
How you doing, guys?
Good. How you doing?
I'm all just grand.
Just grand? All right, now we got to ask you. Where are you right now?
I'm in the wilds of Boston, Massachusetts.
Ooh. What's going on in Boston?
Oh, well, the greatest rhythm and blues rock and roll band in the history of the world just tortured people. But other than that, good seafood.
Oh, was it? Say, was Air Supply playing over there? Is that what you saw?
That's exactly right. Now we know where your guys' priorities are. God bless you. And no, the Nigerian rebels jammed with the Botswana barbecue drive-by band, so everybody learned how to dance last night.
Awesome.
Yeah, no kidding.
And you're getting ready for Thrills in the Irish Hills this weekend in your old stomping grounds of Jackson.
Yeah, I'm so ready. I've been ready for a long time. The greatest tour. I mean, can you believe it? 2012, the old gimping 63-year-old Motor City madman having the greatest tour of his life this late in the game. The energy and the passion every night is just indescribable. But getting back to Michigan is going to kick it up a notch or two, so we're pretty excited.
Now, who's all in the bill this week? Because I saw they're hauling Ace Frehley out, and they're hauling everybody out this weekend.
Yeah, actually, I've been appointed Ace Frehley's probation officer for the weekend.
Awesome.
So I will be overseeing his maneuvers. No, I know Paul Rogers is jamming, and Leonard Skinner and Ace and my band. So it's going to be a son of a bitch, I'm sure.
Now, you got of those three guys you just mentioned, those bands. Do you got any stories going way back with any of those guys? I mean, obviously Kiss and Skinner and Bad Company, Paul Rogers. I mean, have you played with these guys before? Or is this?
Are you kidding me? I've played with everybody, man. I mean, this has been a long, gravity-defying career. The fun factor is off the charts. I guess the greatest Bad Company, Paul Rogers story was in 1976 when Stranglehold was starting to rearrange the psyches of the planet and teaching people what the electric guitar was made for. And we were opening up for Bad Company, and one of the shows was in Dallas, Texas. And because we were only allowed to do an hour set, the audience went berserk when we weren't allowed to do an encore, so they just trashed the place, and they did nothing but chant Nugent throughout the Bad Company set. Oh. So I think we pissed them off royally that night. But I've always admired all these artists. I mean, what Ace has done with Kiss is just hysterical, and certainly Paul Rogers is one of the greatest talents, one of the greatest soulful vocals in the history of rock and roll. And Leonard Skinner's got my old damn Yankee drummer, Michael Cardelloni, and those are friends of mine. We've been playing with Leonard Skinner now since the inception. In fact, I guess the greatest Ted Nugent Leonard Skinner story is back in October. I believe it was, wasn't it 78 when they crashed? Whatever the date was, we were scheduled to co-headline a Madison Square Garden concert. And when they crashed, of course, everybody was heartbroken and very concerned. But we decided to do the concert anyway. It was sold out, and we donated all the proceeds from the concert to the surviving families and into the memorial for the Leonard Skinner Band and their families. So it was pretty intense.
Speaking of being people's probation officers, did you have to bail Mick out of jail?
Yes, I did.
Did you? Good man. Good man.
That's exactly what I had to do.
Good.
The golf cart fiasco, Wild Mick Brown out of control. I'm militantly against drinking and drug abuse, any substance abuse. But I also am a realist, and I like to have a Verner's ginger ale with my barbecue, and my brothers and my buddies and my hunting buddies, and certainly my bandmates and crew, they like a good cold beverage with their meals every day, and they prefer beer, which is absolutely A-OK. But I think in the 100-plus degree weather, and once those beers start to accumulate, and I got up on stage that night in Bangor, Maine, and played Coming of Age with Tommy Shaw and Styx, the damn Yankees classic.
Sure.
And everybody was, it turned into quite the roustabout. And old Mick Brown got a little bit too party maneuvering, and he ended up taking a damn golf cart and scaring people. So it was unfortunate, but nobody got hurt, and I bailed him out, and he's been very, very humbled and apologetic, and he knew that he overdid it. So I think all will be fine.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this, one of the things that I admire you for is the stand that you take against alcohol and drugs and things like that. You said it yourself, hey, your bandmates like to have a cold beer, and that's cool, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I personally like how you stand for that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm 63. I'm having the greatest tour of my life. My American dream is unstoppable, and I attribute that to being clean and sober my whole life. I really attribute it to my parents disciplining me to be in touch with my surroundings and be a responsible guy. And that's been always manifested on my concerts. I mean, every concert we've ever done, which I think is like 6,300 now, 6,300 and something. Every concert I've ever done was phenomenal. My worst concert is phenomenal. My best concert is frightening because of the energy level that is attainable only if you take good care of yourself. So my hunting discipline, my archery discipline, my marksmanship discipline, my musical discipline, it is only attainable if you are in tune with yourself to the maximum, and that means being clean and sober. But I also understand if a guy likes a glass of wine. I drink red wine with a good slab of venison, and I support people's choices in that. It's irresponsible behavior that I absolutely won't tolerate.
I was just thinking, I won't name names, but, Craig and I have been in the radio business a long time, and you've been in the entertainment business even longer. I mean, we've all been to shows where, I won't name names, but you go up there and the lead singer's hammered, man, or he's stoned. He's so wasted he can't even give the lyrics together and stand up. Charging people $80
him yesterday.
No, but charging people $85 a ticket to go see some guy fall all over himself, that's BS.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, again, stop and think, man. I started doing this 56 years ago. Are you kidding me? I started performing with little bands at sock hops and pool parties in Detroit in 1955, 1956. Are you kidding me? And I was always raised in a militantly disciplined environment by my wonderful parents to just be the best that I can be, to put your heart and soul into everything that you do. And I'm with you. I've seen, in fact, I've opened up for and had bands open up for me that just blew it, just disrespected the people who bought the tickets to see their artwork. And I find that absolutely intolerable. I find it rude, and I find it dishonest and cheating. So I feel a responsibility to my audiences, man. They love the music that I love. They love my music. The band is dedicated to putting on the greatest show on the planet every night, every song, every concert. And that's why I'm still around. A lot of people aren't.
You talk back in the 50s. What was the name of your very first band? The very first band you're in, garage band, doo-wop band, whatever what was it called? Do you remember?
The Royal High Boys.
Yes.
We were actually named, I don't know how old you guys are, but there was an actual shirt collar. It was like an Elvis Presley collar. It was really a tall collar. And it was, I think it was actually promoted at the Northland Mall as a high boy collar. So we decided to call ourselves the Royal High Boys. We're like, 9-10 years old. It was really adorable.
What was your first real big gig? Like your first, I've hit the big time, or this,
Well, geez, I remember playing the Michigan State Fair, the Polish Arts Festival, with my guitar teacher, Joe Podorczyk. I believe it was around 1958, 1959. And I hadn't the faintest idea. I mean, I was doing everything I could to emulate my heroes, Bo Diddley and Chuck Berry and Little Richard and Jerry Lee Lewis back then. And certainly the Ventures and the Dick Dale and the Deltones, the original guitar bands, And I was on stage. I was just petrified because there was thousands of people out there. We were just playing honky tonk and boogie woogie, and I'm sure I blew it royal. But I remember playing Walt's Malt Shop on Warwick Avenue and Grand River around 1960 with a drummer, Shane something. I don't remember his whole name, but his name was Shane. And it was just the two of us. And we were just jamming, playing Chuck Berry the best that we could. But then, then it exploded. I started selling out clubs around the country with the Amboy Dukes, and then, of course, I became the top grossing rock and roll artist on planet Earth for 3 years, 77, 78, and 79. But I got to tell you, you don't approach the stage any differently. To me, I've always been intoxicated by the music, the music, the music, the music. So today, whether we play for a big event with hundreds of thousands of people, or we play a house of blues with just a few thousand people, my band and I, we play the same every night. It really doesn't matter.
This is a complete side note. This is probably, I don't know if you've ever been asked this question before, but I got to ask. I'm a pinball collector. In 1978, a pinball machine came out in your honor. Do you own one, and do you remember it?
Yes, I do own one, and I'm pleased that the world gets to fondle my metal balls every night. Yeah, it's kind of cute. There's a bunch of those around. They made a few thousand of them, and I run into people all the time that have them. And we do have one at my taxidermist down at Mark Ditzel's taxidermist shop down in Jackson, Michigan. So, yeah, we still have one, just, for nostalgia purposes.
Yeah, can I ask you a question? How did that ever come about? Did you, because, I mean, you got a Rolling Stones pinball and a Dolly Parton pinball and a Kiss pinball. I mean, you're up there with the legends. I mean, you got to be kick-ass to get a pinball machine.
Well, I think it's cute, when you have a visible career like mine that's ridiculously visible. I mean, I'm here, there, and everywhere. I lovingly refer to my career as the wallpaper carpet bomb jihad. I just get up in the morning and go to work, and I rock my ass off every night, and I write the books that I write, and I produce the TV shows that I produce, and I do the charity work that I do. But you guys can't imagine, in your wildest imagination, how our phones and computers blow up every day. I have offers to do everything from nail polish to garter belts. People have been approaching me for years to do my own, Ted Nugent signature products, every imaginable product you can come up with. And I have a team that understands my vision, that it's got to be cool, it's got to be music or the world of conservation and hunting and projectile management. So I have my own signature arrow. Gold Tip has made the Ted Nugent Zebra arrow for many years, and we donate the proceeds to military, youth, and breast cancer charities. I have my own Nugent Java, my own Nugent coffee, that these guys will contact me because they see my Spirit of the Wild TV show and they see my passion for the things that I love. We've talked to Gibson guitars for many, many years, and Paul Reed Smith guitars and PV amplifiers. We haven't quite perfected the deal for my own guitar or amp, but I do have my own line of Ted Nugent ammunition, which I think is the mountaintop of the American dream, having your own signature ammunition. So there's a lot of stuff that we get offered every day, but we turn down 99% of them because I want something that I really believe in. Plus, when they finally do offer me the final product, it's got to be state-of-the-art. It's got to be the best in the world, or I'm just not interested. So they come to me with a pinball machine. I thought it was cute, and I said, yeah, let's design it. Let's make sure it's done right, and we did. I'm pretty proud of that.
Now, here, I've got a question for you. This is Craig, by the way. Hey. You said you were talking about keeping yourself healthy and keeping yourself in top physical condition. Sometimes you gotta have a little help, as in, I'm guessing at 63, the knees. You had to have the knees.
Yeah, the knees right now. I'm doing this interview with you gentlemen with a bag of ice on both knees. My knees are gone. I hope everyone had a good time watching me leap off those amplifiers for 50 years because I destroyed my knees. I've had 3 surgeries, and I'm scheduled now for right after the tour to have both of my knees replaced. I'm scrutinizing the state-of-the-art technology that's available. But, yeah, I've paid the price because I never heard the word meniscus until mine was destroyed. So you do have to be really tuned in, and I just was not educated on certain health and medical situations, and God, am I paying the price now because it hurts like hell. So all you young people out there, if you're into athletics or any kind of gymnastic or athletic activities, learn about your sacred temple, learn how your joints and your bones and your skeleton works, and be sure you don't abuse it like I have, because my God, all those leaps off all those amplifiers all those years has just destroyed my legs, and it really hurts.
Well, you mentioned about you're telling a story about putting ice in your knees. It reminded me of, I guess it's a double question. Meatloaf played here last year, and he's got some hip issue, and he literally takes an ice bath, like in a tub, before he goes on stage. I guess
I probably should. I get a massage. I do my ice, and I do a serious massage on both of my legs before I perform every night. Or, quite honestly, last month I determined I kept experimenting with different activities, and we found that I have to do it all, or I literally couldn't walk. If I don't do a nonstop regimen and therapy to my legs every day, I literally could not walk. I was on crutches for most of the year, and I have to use a cane right now. It's kind of cute watching the Motor City Madman hobble along with a cane. But by doing the massage, the specialized massage, and the knee braces and the different medicines that I take, I'm able to get on stage and rock my balls off every night. But I'm only good for a couple hours. The rest of the time, I have ice.
I don't know how old Elton John is. In I saw him a couple months ago, and as you were talking, it made me think. He played when I saw him here back in April. He's got to be probably 65 now, 63. 64.
Yeah, he's a little older than I am, and I'm 63, so I bet he's up there in 65, 66.
He played 3 hours and 4 minutes. Now, granted,
he gets to sit down at the piano.
He's sitting down. But man,
easier, I think.
It's like you're talking about being in your 60s. I mean, this guy played for 3 hours.
Well, look at Springsteen. Springsteen's my age, and he gets up there and plays for 3 hours. And what we have to do, all of us, whether it's Elton John or Bruce Springsteen or myself, we surround ourselves with just the world's greatest talent. And Mick Brown on drums, Greg Smith on bass guitar, Derek St. Holmes on guitar and vocals. These guys can carry the load. Plus, a lot of my songs, some of my classic songs, some of my best songs, Stranglehold, Just What the Doctor Ordered, Hey Baby, certainly Spirit of the Wild, those songs are Derek's vocals. So the most brutal fatigue comes from singing, because it's about breathing, and it really does beat your ass every night. So that Derek sings almost half the songs on stage every night, it gives me an incredible break. It allows me to maintain an incredible animal energy up there. So when you got a drummer like Mick and a bass player like Greg and Derek who's singing some of the songs, it really makes it easy on me. So I got basically a cakewalk. My problem is that my shows have always been so hyper. My music is so intense, and 50% of my vocals are, caterwauling, screams like a coyote with his balls caught in a conibear bear trap. My screaming really knocks my ass down every night, but it's so much fun. I pretend I'm James Brown 90% of the show.
Completely switching gears, I got to ask, when we talk to your handler, she says no holds barred, so here we go, all right?
Yeah, go nuts, man. By the way, I don't have a handler, but Linda Peterson is my personal assistant that handles my calendar. But go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, well, the handler. So, all right, I got to ask about the Secret Service thing.
Oh yeah, that's a great thing. Now there's a more than just what hit the media. I've had Secret Service buddies since the 1960s. I've got federal agents that are at my camps, at my hunting camps, and at my concerts every night throughout my lifetime since the 60s. I have a great respect for law enforcement. I've got a great relationship with law enforcement. I am law enforcement. I've been a Lake County, Michigan sheriff deputy since 1982, I believe. And I work with these guys. I mean, I have nothing but not just respect, but reverence for their warriors. They're special people. So when this cluster whack occurred, because I dared to use my First Amendment rights, and the Wasserman Schultz and the Nancy Pelosi's and the Eric gun-running Holder and the criminal president of the United States lied about what I said, and their complicit media lied about what I said, the Secret Service had to respond. They have to respond even to known lies, because they have to get to the bottom of it. So we had a very cordial and a very professional and a very serious meeting, but it was mutually respectful, and off the record, it was a nice reunion of people that stand up for, believe in, and enforce the same U.S. Constitution. So believe me when I tell you, there was a blood brotherhood. There was a mutual understanding in that meeting that day that was nothing but upbeat, positive, and respectful.
But what did you have on the grill?
Dead stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, we did. They weren't allowed to indulge in any unofficial Uncle Ted activities, but there was a real positive air to the entire event. Of course, they concluded what they already knew going in, that I was guilty of 0 crimes.
It made for an interesting media spectacle, but then again, I mean, you've never been shy about your opinion, and I think that's part of your appeal is, whether people agree or disagree with you necessarily on everything. I think they appreciate the fact it's no BS, and you just tell them how it is.
I think you're absolutely correct on that.
I think a lot of people appreciate that. A couple more quick things before I let you go, Ted. I'm just curious. Where do you call home these days?
Well, I'm a Texan. I'll always be a Michiganiac. I cannot express adequately my love for my birth state of Michigan. I will always be a Michiganiac, but the Coleman Young suicide march of Michigan and Jennifer Granholm's dismantling of one of the greatest quality of lives available to an American in the great state of Michigan certainly should piss off everybody who knows right over wrong and good over evil and accountability over waste and power abuse. So as much as I love Michigan, I really, really love living in Texas. The freedom, the private property rights, the wildlife management system, gun rights, tax accountability. It really is a superior quality of life in Texas. But I still come home to Michigan. I've got my sacred Michigan hunting grounds. I have my family and my friends in Michigan. I come there and I'm hubbing out of Michigan through the summer tour. I will be back like I do every year since 1949 and celebrate my beloved hunting season all of October and November and more every year in Michigan. So I have a great, great love and affection for Michigan, but I certainly appreciate the increased quality of life that is available in Texas. I think Governor Snyder is doing a much better job than some previous governors, but Governor Perry may very well be the best governor in the United States of America, and the quality of life that we the people demand and accomplish in Texas is the greatest quality of life available in America. That's why more people are moving to Texas than any other state, and they're moving to Texas from Illinois, Michigan, and California, because Illinois, Michigan, and California have stabbed themselves in the heart with liberal policies, and though Snyder and his guys are doing a much better job in fixing things quickly, they're not. They haven't fixed it yet, and Texas is the best place. I'm telling you.
Is it fair to say if you're not going to be voting a Democratic in the election in November?
I think that's fair to say.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not a big Mao Tse-tung fan, so I
didn't know he was
really
running.
Heartbroken at the criminality by the president, the attorney general, the secretary of state. I mean, these punks side with the United Nations gangsters before they side with America. It breaks my heart.
Now, you've got over 800,000 people who like your Facebook page. You got 75,000 Twitter followers. Did you know, I'm sure you do, that there's a Ted Nugent for President Facebook page that has over 52,000 people who like it?
Yes, I'm afraid I am aware of that. I think it's adorable, and it's an indication of the, if not an indictment, to where politics have plummeted in the United States of America. But let me just tell you this. I get communications every day from the greatest human beings that have ever walked the earth, and those are the heroes of the U.S. military on the front lines in Afghanistan and elsewhere. And when you see a Ted Nugent for President sticker on a dead Taliban goofball, I don't know what else there is in life you could dream of. The heroes of the U.S. military, every branch of the armed forces, they've got Ted Nugent for President stickers over on the front lines on the war on terror. And when I get updates and photos of that, I'm telling you, it really fortifies my spirit.
Well, is the situation the country's in, is it ever going to push you to actually run for office or do something?
The position I hold is the most important position in the world, and that is an active, we the people citizen. I raise more hell than any 500,000 people out there on a daily basis, because there's such a sheep-like mentality out there that supports this criminal regime in the White House right now. It just dazzles the rest of us that understand the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the rule of law. And when you've got an attorney general the number one law enforcement agent in the United States of America, who violates his oath to the Constitution in so many ways, running guns to Mexican gangs. The bureaucracy in charge of gun laws, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms in Arizona, who actually violates their duty and their oath to the U.S. Constitution by running guns to Mexican gangs. I mean, how more putrid could it possibly be than that? So I will do what I have to do. I'm an old guy, but I have indefatigable energy. I have great passion and spirit for this last best place in the world called the United States of America, and I will do whatever I have to do. I will die for this country. I will die, if I have to, fighting to get rid of the corruption, the abuse of power, and the criminality in our government wherever I spotlight these cockroaches, so that my grandchildren don't have to live up in a country that Barack Obama is trying to make like some communist, suburb. I mean, redistributing earnings is a Mao Tse-tung chant, and Mao Tse-tung invented communism. Obama's trying to implement it, and then he goes to the Vietnam Memorial Wall and desecrates 58,000 dead warriors by supporting a system that they died fighting. Can you think of anything more vile than that?
Ted, do you remember that TV show Crossfire?
I do. I should be on it, and I'd trounce that punk.
You'd lay all those guys down.
Well, I got to tell you guys, I do media every day. This is my third or fourth interview today. I wallpaper and carpet bomb, and I reek of truth, common sense, and logic. And anybody that ever argues with me loses. That's why the people that hate Ted Nugent have to do it behind the cowardly, anonymity of the internet. And that's why they rail and they lie about me and they hate me because I dare to stand up for Second Amendment rights. I dare to eat venison. Are you kidding me? So people hate me because I believe in self-defense. Are you kidding me? People hate me because I eat venison. I mean, how brain dead, how much LSD do you have to eat to think like that? So I couldn't be more proud of what I stand for. I stand for irrefutable truth and logic. The evidence that supports everything I stand for is inescapable, overwhelming, universally available. So if you argue with Ted Nugent, you will lose. Anybody listen to this interview right now that doesn't like me and wants to argue with me, call my buddies Craig and Matt and take me on. I will eat your guts.
Speaking of venison, Matt's from Petoskey, and I used to live in Gaylord a bunch of times.
Love Petoskey and Gaylord. Are you kidding me? Those are Nugent stomping grounds.
I know. Where's your favorite place to hunt up there? You don't have to give an actual address. We don't want people stalking you or anything. But where's one of your favorite places to hunt up there?
Well, I was my early years of hunting was up around Hawks and Hillman.
Okay,
over the east side. And on the banks of the Tittabawassee, and I got to hunt with the phenomenally legendary great hero Fred Bear over in Rose City at his Grouse Haven camp. So I've really been to the mountaintop of the Michigan hunting. I've been up in Kalkaska in the Upper Peninsula and Grayling and Gaylord. And, the Manistee National Forest. The Nugent family has a sacred family hunting grounds in the Manistee National Forest. But these years, what I do mostly, because I donate a lot of hunting trips with me to military and youth charities for terminally ill children and stuff, and the wounded warriors. And for the convenience factor and the sheer number of deer available, I hunt all October and November in Jackson County with an occasional trip up to my place up north where my sister lives. But, I love it all, but it really doesn't matter where you hunt. It always matters who you're hunting with. And for the last 20 plus years, I've dedicated my hunting season to charities. And when you hunt with the family of that are saying goodbye to a little boy or a girl, and the emotion and the pain and the hurt that you're welcomed into to overcome and circumvent around the campfire, and a Marine who's lost his legs, or maybe a paralyzed soldier with their family, I got to tell you, it doesn't matter where you are. It's the spirit of that hunting lifestyle that brought us together that makes that campfire glow so special. special. So I'm humbled every year by these very special people we get to hunt with, so it doesn't matter where it happens.
Ted, thanks for this quiet interview.
Well, I'm a happy man. My American dream is on fire. I got the greatest band, the greatest music, the greatest audiences, the greatest family, the greatest hunting is going to be coming on again. Last year was the greatest hunting season of my life. I guarantee you that when I get my knees replaced, this is going to be the greatest hunting season coming up. I've got the greatest friends. I get to do these interviews and talk about the important stuff, and I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to do it. But I also want to thank everybody for this gravity-defying career of mine. Are you kidding me? 50-some years later, we're rocking our balls off every night. Our Spirit of the Wild show has been voted number one all these years. I can't thank you enough for that. I've just been voted number one guitar player ever from Detroit. I mean, I'm a lucky, lucky man, and I owe that to the people who love the music and love that I stand up for what they believe in. So thank you for all of that, man.
One more quick question before I let you go, Ted. First, thanks so much for your time and the great music and being so good to Michigan and us all these years. Did you ever play with Seeger?
I did. Oh, hell yeah. Back in when there was still Bob Seger and the Last Herd. Hell yes. I've been playing with Bob Seger since the early 1960s, man.
I was just curious. You both are Michigan boys and Detroit boys.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have great respect for them. Every night on stage, I remind everybody, like I need to, that we come from Detroit, the land of Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels and the MC5 and the Rationals and Dick Wagner and the Frost and Brownsville Station and the Romantics and Kid Rock and Eminem and Jack White and Bob Seger and the Motown Funk Brothers. I mean, there's so many incredible powerhouse musical forces that came out of Detroit. And dare I say, right on your wonderful radio show, that I represent it better than all of them, because our energy is just it's pure animal every night. So we represent that Detroit music-loving force. You know what I mean? It's a very special energy and groove and spirit and defiance and ferocity to Michigan music, and we do it every night. So, yeah, I love where I come from, man.
You're going to see Ted do it. Thrills of the Irish Hills in Jackson this weekend. Thank you, Ted Nugent, for your time. We appreciate it.
All right, man. God bless America. God bless Michigan.